Hi, I'm Leon, and today we'll be taking a look at the Elite 2.0 Wild Edition Stormcharge, a semi-auto blaster that reminds many of the tale of the Stryfe. Let's get into it. The Elite 2.0 Wild Edition Stormcharge, and that's the last time I'll say the government name, is a semi-auto blaster from the Elite 2.0 line. It reminds a lot of people of the Stryfe because, well, that's kind of what it is. If we take off the two included attachments, we're left with a Stryfe that now has a carry handle along the top and a weird vertical grip. Certainly works. Of course, that's not all this blaster is. It is a different blaster, and let's kind of get into it. First, we'll start at the front. This is the first review I actually get to say this. There is an N-strike barrel lug, which accommodates your attachments, like the included little compensator. And it's pretty exciting. First review to say that. Moving along to the back, there is a N-strike stock attachment point for your N-strike stocks. This one comes with the Recon Mark II stock. And there are two rails on the blaster. One right here on the top to accommodate your sights, and one right here. And I'll go ahead and mention this one real quick. In my experience, putting a flashlight on this blaster, the modulus flashlight specifically, is not the greatest. I would prefer if my modulus flashlights were on this side, because then I can flick the switch like this, up here. And this one can also hit the blaster and kind of reflect onto it, getting rid of that little bit of light that you have. But it's no big deal. You can certainly put something on the side, and you can certainly have a good time. Now, within the carry handle itself is actually a little sight. You can go ahead and peek through this right here, and you can see that there is a tiny little sight on the end. It is not the easiest thing to see through. In fact, if you don't attach a stock, then yeah, it's pretty easy to see through it. But if you do have a stock attached, it's hard for me to kind of get to it. I can see it sort of, and it kind of gives you very little space to see out of. So I'm not entirely too big of a fan. But no big deal, because you can go ahead and attach whatever sight you like to the top rail. I personally like the hollow point. Always have loved this thing. And it works just fine on the top rail, providing a nice little sort of sight line for me. So, no big deal on that. This thing runs on 4 AA batteries. A lot of the Dart Zone stuff runs on 6. This one runs on 4, just like your Stryfes, just like your Fortnite Scars, just like every other semi-auto blaster that Nerf has made. Goes ahead and it runs on it. And fires. It's fine, you know. It's average stock Nerf performance. Really can't hate that. Jam door right here is one of the clicky ones. You can go ahead and slam that down and clear your jam, and this gives you a lot of space to work with. I'm very impressed with it. I have had this blaster jam maybe a couple times while I was running it, but nothing really big, nothing that I couldn't sort out with the jam door. Plus, it's one of the clicky ones, so if you're really into sort of the reload style, that's your nice little thing you can rack back. Either way, pretty simple. Semi-auto blaster, really not a lot going for it, but that's okay. I will have to talk about one thing real quick, and that is the Magwell. The Magwell. I don't know how this got through. Included 10 round straight mag. There's a reason it's a straight mag and not a banana mag. Worker 22. Just fine. 18 round magazine. I'll hold the carry handle so you can see that you really have to slam this thing in here. You really have to slam it in here because of this little nudge right here. Otherwise, it doesn't really work. It can work, but if you're not slamming your mag into it, which probably isn't very good for the blaster, it doesn't really want to work. I'm not a fan of that at all. At all. I don't know what it is with the 18 round magazines, just having this little nudge right here that makes them just impossible for a lot of blasters to use, but here we have another victim of that. The Stormcharge. Spectrum, the Thunderbolt, they can't do it. The Stormcharge also can barely do it, and it doesn't feel great having to slam a mag in there like that. Oh well, what can you do? It's certainly not the worst thing in the world, plus the Worker 22 is the best mag anyways, so you'll be alright, but it kind of sucks that you have to sort of slam that in there to do that. Regardless, the mag release is fantastic. I never thought I'd see the day where Nerf put a paddle mag release on one of their blasters. This thing is nice and clicky. It feels really comfortable. It accommodates both styles of reloads, and critically, it's not in the damn trigger guard. I hate when they put it in the trigger guard, so I'm so happy it's here. Look at that. Look, I've been asking for this. It's so nice. Why can't they just do this all the time? Why do they got to put it in the trigger guard all the time? Do this more, Nerf, please. Just give us back our old mag releases. Nobody was complaining about that. The trigger, it feels so bad in the trigger guard. The rev trigger's fine. It's kind of generic rev trigger. I think it juts out a little bit, so can't hate that. And the firing trigger accommodates. It accommodates itself all right. Certainly has a little bit of resistance to it, but you know what? That's okay. I can live with that. It's perfectly fine to me. And with that, let's go ahead and see it fire. Shooting some Nerf Elite darts. These are a little worn, but they should be okay. Now reloading to some Dart Zone chilies. This is the mag that came with the Moto Blitz, hence no bump. This is Waffle Heads from Walmart. Well, the trigger's a little... Yeah, average performance. It's fun, you know. Apart from the whole magazine thing that can't take 18s, I really don't have any complaints about this blaster. I think the price might be a little too high at $30, but I've also seen this thing for $25, and $25 feels pretty good for what you get here. I would love it for $20, of course, but $25 feels pretty good for what you get here. 2 attachments and a nice little blaster on it. And if you don't like the 2 attachments, you can go ahead and take them off. And the beauty of it is, they accounted for that. There's a sling mount here and a sling mount here. Yeah, so you can actually keep it along your hip, and then when you need it, do one of those. But truthfully, I'd like to take a section where I normally tear into blasters and normally tell you things to kind of appreciate the Stormcharge for a second. When Elite 2.0 came out, people were shocked. It was awful. It was cheap. Innovation had gone out of the window. I don't remember the last time I was excited for a Nerf blaster. And that sucked. That really sucked. Because now what happened was you were excited. Anybody remember when the Regulator came out? That was huge. People loved that. They said, keep doing more of this, Nerf. This feels great. We love the Regulator. Nemesis came out that same year. We love the Nemesis. And then Elite 2.0 came out. And then people stopped liking Nerf. Go figure. Nerf was cheap. They took the Alpha Strike line and they threw it into Elite, and they called it Elite 2.0. Slap in the face to many. But with blasters like the Stormcharge, there's hope. The turbine from the first wave was fun. For $20. But then the Moto Blitz came out. Then the Trailblazer came out. Then the Stormcharge came out. These kind of blasters give me hope that Elite 2.0 is actually what it's supposed to be. The successor to Nerf Elite, a look into the future. This one doesn't innovate much, but it gives us something that we desperately need. Hope that Nerf will release fun blasters again. And I think they did it with the Stormcharge. I can forgive a lot of the issues. This thing has certainly sat with me for a couple of wars. I would say maybe about 10 matches. And it has had a pretty good time. I don't think I'll ever really complain that the Stormcharge is Elite 2.0 because it doesn't feel that way. The tiger striping on it reminds me of what they did from the Digicamo on the old Elite stuff to the tiger stripe pattern on some of the new Elite stuff. I think the Infinus, the Hyperfire, a couple of those had it. It's cool. And while I certainly think that we are not going to get back to that state of Elite that we once had, I at least think that the Stormcharge is a pretty noble blaster in the fact that it is exactly what you want, and it doesn't really waste time. Sure, added gimmick here. Sure, added weird gimmick here. That's completely forgivable because the Stormcharge is excellent. This one isn't going to have my highest recommendation because at that same price point you can get the Thunderbolt, which is a much better blaster. But if you like what you see here, pick it up. Stormcharge works, it shoots, and it reminds me of what Nerf was. Fun, relatively affordable, and a nice little callback to the glory days. But with that, that concludes my video review of the Nerf Elite 2.0 Wild Edition Stormcharge. That thing has a long name. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you enjoyed just seeing this blaster in action. And if it helps you with the purchase recommendation, hey, I did something for you. As always, if you like what I do here, go ahead and leave a like, subscribe, maybe leave a comment if you have this one, share your experiences with it, or leave a comment if you want to get this one. I'm certainly happy to sort of mention some stuff to you if you're in the comment section. And as always, take it easy.